things are going to happen to us as we move throughout life. I'm sure you figured this out by now. It's obvious, right? Things happen. This is life. We go through stuff. We have no control over the outcome of things most of the time as well. Sometimes something bad might happen, something disappointing, sometimes something good and something amazing might happen. But we tend to not have control over the things that go wrong. And that can leave us with baggage. It can leave us with trauma. It can leave us with our vessel picking up vibrational, emotional debris. So it's just like a ship that's out at sea. Sometimes the ship has to be brought in, it has to be dry docked in order to scrape all the barnacles off of it, all the nastiness that grows on it, so that hull doesn't further decay and that vessel can continue on its voyages. We're the same way. We pick up on things. Stuff gets stuck to us as we move along, and if we don't properly deal with this stuff, it can end up, well, messing up our voyage. It can end up making us bitter about things. It can make us resentful. It can make us heavy when we don't need to be. So I want to talk about something we can do to lighten our load. And this is simple. It's going to sound like something you've heard before, but I want to try to take it to a level you might not have heard before. And that is practicing forgiveness, right? Forgiveness. It's to let go, and furthermore, to accept the situation for what it is. When we're able to forgive someone for wronging us, when we're able to forgive ourselves for maybe doing something that was embarrassing or destructive, messed something up, you gotta forgive yourself. Because whatever it might be, if you're holding on to that resentment, if you're holding on to that guilt and holding on to that shame, then it's like drinking a poison and you're holding it in. You're not wanting to let that out of your system. And so that ends up tainting your aura. Say you have this bright, white, light colored aura, and you're holding on to this like gross colored this or that. I mean, it's just like having a glass of water and putting some color into it. Your aura is going to be the same way. You're discoloring your aura. You're reducing the magnification, the intensity, the energy of your aura and your energy, and it's going to make you feel a different way. It's going to make you almost be like a person that you're not. So to forgive is to accept what happened, to accept things as they are, instead of looking back and saying, man, if I would have only done this, if they would have done this, if I could have done it this way. When we're holding on to the past, we're not being in our present moment. What is what is. And to accept that what is what is, and what happened is what happened, well, we can effectively set ourselves free, because when you can learn to forgive those experiences, say, you know what, I forgive that. I forgive that. You're giving yourself permission to accept the flawed being that you are, first off, the flawed being that others are, the flawed situations and planet and experience that we're having, and you allow yourself to move forward from it. Getting stuck in these dark places is not going to allow you to have anything better come about. So like I said to start off, we're not in control of what happens necessarily, but we can influence the outcome. Doesn't mean we can guarantee it's going to be a great outcome, but if you're going to be holding on to negativity and resentment and guilt and shame and whatever it might be, you are making it more likely that you experience events like that moving forward. So in order to lighten ourselves, in order to scrape the barnacles off the hull so we can go out to sea and get back to smooth sailing, we have to learn to forgive. And now, forgiveness can be towards a person. It can be towards you. It can be towards yourself. It can be for something very tangible, very physical like that. But what if you could forgive something more intangible like that? Say, for instance, a situation, or maybe money, or maybe God or source or the universe or whatever you want to call it. Because there's another level of this where we might get caught up blaming something like, oh man, if I only had this or that, if I only had the money to do this, if only, like, why isn't God helping me? Why isn't this happening? When we fall into a sort of mentality like the force itself is against us, what we start doing is creating a feedback loop around it that, again, like I said, influences those events going forward. So Forgiveness is a matter of not only letting it go, but healing our relationships, healing our connections with people, with ourselves, with energies around us, with intelligence around us. It's to realize this, that what we're holding a grudge against, or what we're trying to hold on to, the pain that we're trying to hold on to, like let's say you lost a bunch of money doing something. Like you tried to make something work, you tried to start a business or something and you failed at it. Or let's say you were working with trying to manifest something and you were really, really thinking it was going to happen and you were putting all your eggs into it and then it didn't work out the way that you thought it was. And then you build this resentment over it. You started building this feeling and this energy around yourself. It's like, oh no, it doesn't work out. Now nothing else is going to work out because it didn't work that way. And then you start thinking, oh, well, I'm a failure and I can't do this and I'm this and that. You work yourself into a spiral because you're not letting go of those events. You're not letting go of what happened. You're not accepting what happened as what is and refusing to give yourself a clean slate because of the pain that you felt. You're letting that pain put you into a mentality of feeling like because that pain happened, well, it's probably going to happen again. And now I have to protect myself from it because I know that that happened. But you're only going to be holding yourself back. So it can be the same thing with like a person that maybe wronged you or something. Let's say like a relationship didn't work out. And now you're in this mentality of, well, I'll never have a relationship again. It'll never work out because it's this and this, and maybe it was my fault, and because it was my fault, I'm this way and I'm flawed, and blah, 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 blah. You work yourself into this spiral of something that you're not actually. You experienced something that wasn't a favorable result, and that's because you had an attachment to the outcome. But now you have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive, you have to let go, and it can be hard to forgive. I'm not saying this is like, oh, voila, I forgive. It's easy. It can be, but that's up to you. When things happen to us, we have to go through these phases of processing them. And the final phase is to forgive. It's to accept what is and to let it go. Forgive that person. Forgive who you are. Forgive who you were. Forgive money. Forgive God. For you not know what God does. You do not know what's going on. You're not in this human experience. The universe, the source. There's a plan for you. There's something happening that you just have to forgive, and you have to be willing to move on and to let go, because then you get to be light again. Then you get to be light again. It's so crazy that the pain can make us choose more pain. Like, isn't that the most wild concept? How many people do you know, maybe it's even you, because we've all been through this, how many people do you know that are living their lives from this place, like their identity is what happened to them? And it was so hard, and it's this and that, and I mean, you can't get a word out around them without them telling you about some problem that they have or some issue that they're going through, and that makes them who they are now. It's like they're living in their past. Maybe you're living in your past. We've all been there, where we've let the past become who we are now. And that's because we're unwilling to forgive. Because we are prideful. We're unwilling to let go of what that person did to us. So now I'm going to withhold myself from the world and not let anyone else in because that person hurt me. I'm going to punish everyone else. Or now I did this in the past and it failed and it hurt, and maybe I did something wrong to somebody else. So I'm not going to ever let myself do that again because now I see myself as this bad person who does this and that. So again, I'm going to close off. I'm going to hold myself in, and I'm not going to let myself be the light that I can be here, now, in this new moment that is fresh, right? We have this gift. The forgiveness is to realize that. It's to realize that the mind, its job, ego mind, its job is to gather information, to gather data, protect us from things. But at a certain point, it is flawed in the sense that it will not let us let go and let us move on from that. The point of any experience that we go through in life is for us to grow. It's for us to learn. But if we're not able to let go of what the past was, we never get to the next lesson. We never get to the next stage. And to get to that next stage is the whole point, to continue the process of growth. Are bad things going to happen in the future? Probably. But are amazing things also going to happen in the future? Yes. Especially if you open up to it and let that happen. Because the better you get at forgiving things and letting them go, the easier it's going to be in the future too. We cannot control the pain that we're going to experience. And that's just a fact. That's just what it is. It's just what life is, because we need to have the lessons that we need to have. But we can control how we respond to them. And when we're able to let go, when we're able to forgive ourselves, to forgive others, to forgive the energies that we work with, to forgive the higher intelligence that we work with that works through us, when we're able to forgive and accept things as they are, we allow ourselves to flow naturally, the way that we're supposed to, the way that is natural for us. So with that, my friends, it's time to let it go. It's time to take a deep breath. Let it go. Move on. It's okay to forgive. It's okay that you did that thing. It's okay that that person hurt you. It's okay that this failed. It's okay that you feel forsaken or that you feel this way. But let that be in your past, because you have the gift of the present. And in this now moment, you can allow that to be your reality. Forgive, forget, move on, move forward. There's so much more life for us to live. All right? Much love, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I wish you the best. Take care.